And welcome back to See Today Business. The Indonesian Transportation Ministry acknowledges that airfares have risen during the 2024 Eid homecoming period. Transportation Ministry spokesperson Adita Irawati stated that the upward trend in ticket prices has approached the upper limit tariff set by the government. Ticket fares start to rise for flights between April the 3rd and 18th, particularly for popular routes. Now, a post on X by @Bayuram recently went viral as it revealed airfares for the Jakarta-Padang route surged by more than 300%. Those screenshots show the connecting flights with Batik Air and Super Air Jet costing 4,760,600 rupiah and up to 5,396,300 rupiah. But up until now, there have been no violation of airfares that exceed the upper limit tariff as stipulated in the Transportation Minister's Decree number 106 of 2019. And to talk more about how to manage homecoming expenses on a budget, joining me now in the studio is certified financial planner Metta Anggriani. Thank you, Metta, so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Mas Krishna, for inviting me here again.
Right, because this is quite an important discussion because as we know, Eid and even Ramadan is a time when we have to spend a lot of money for food, for breakfasting, also for Eid, and for the travel itself.
Right.
Now, today we're going to focus on that travel, the Eid homecoming. So maybe just tell us, what are maybe some of the main expenses that we should consider when budgeting for Eid homecoming?
Well, the homecoming itself, the concept is actually similar to that when we're traveling on holidays, right? But I think the focus will be more on family. So maybe not so much about sightseeing, right? But still, I think the main expenses are the travel expenses. As mentioned earlier, the air tickets price and the other transportation costs have increased because of the increasing demands. But I think maybe the accommodation cost may be lower because most of the people going for homecoming is staying with the family.
Right.
And again, the goals for the homecoming itself is to be with the family. So the family gathering expense might be higher as well. You know, when you go for silaturahmi, you have to provide foods, clothing, and maybe, you know, some little money to give out to your families. You know, they call it salam tempel or angpao, right? Yeah, so those kind of expenses should be allocated. Maybe it takes more up on your budget. Of course, there could be some other recreational activities during the holidays that you may spend with your families.
Okay. Now, you know, as you were talking about as well, in the previous story that I mentioned, you know, the prices are going up for the fares. So let's talk about the cost or inflation trends that we should watch out for this year that could affect your budget planning and how it's been different from the previous years.
I think it's not going to be that much different.
Okay.
Because I think the traveling during this Eid period is very highly traffic, right? So I guess the most expenses because it comes from the numbers of the people traveling. I think it is stated by the government that the number of people of traveling could be about 200 million people. So about half of Indonesian population are going to travel at the same time during that limited period, right? So I guess that increased the cost of traveling. I mean, the travel business, the travel companies may increase also their supplies and services, but they have to pay extra costs as well, right? For adding personnel and, you know, overtime. And the second factor also, maybe the fuel price would be increased as well. I think it's not really related directly to the crude oil price, but it's also about the complex distribution costs to ensure that the fuel is actually reaching out to all areas across Indonesia. Right. And I think, as mentioned earlier, even the government had arranged, you know, some kind of threshold, you know, for the floor price or the ceiling price of the tickets. But still, at the end, it's the market, right? The price will be driven by the demand and the supply. So I guess it's not going to be much different about, you know, the inflation during the Eid period.
Right, but as you mentioned, the demand, you know, is looking to go up because, of course, we're kind of in this phase where we're really out of the pandemic, so demand is going to go up.
Right, people still has this post-pandemic effect where they feel overwhelming to travel.
Right.
But, you know, actually maybe the fleets have increased during the period as well because of the pandemic, right?
Right, so in that sense, with the fares going up already, what kind of strategies can we use to have a more cost-effective travel back home? Would it be? It seems like it would be advisable to buy as soon as possible, or what do you think?
Right. I mean, like booking in advance could save up all your money. Maybe it can save up 20 to 40%, right? But again, I mean, like the dilemmatic issue is that you have to buy earlier, but you know the religious allowance just arrived by now, right? So I guess you better buy the ticket as soon as possible, because if you wait for later, it will be more increase as well. Or if you don't get tickets, you will find other alternatives that may be higher in the cost as well, right? So I guess, yeah, plan your mudik, your homecoming in advance. Try to find, you know, promo or discounts.
Right.
Or maybe you find other alternative transportation options that is more affordable. You know, for example, maybe trains or bus, or maybe doing some carpooling with your family together, right? Right. Yeah.
Okay, so let's break it down in terms of the budgeting for especially for the Eid and the homecoming travel. Break down the budget for us.
Right. I guess, you know, our wants has no limit, but we have to limit the expenses maximum to your religious allowance. That is your maximum limit. But you know, your religious allowance will not only for your mudik, right? For your homecoming. So maybe for homecoming, maybe you allocate it how much? Maybe 30 to 50%. Other you have to save, and also you have to pay zakat and other thing, right? So for the travels, maybe you have to break it down again. I mean, like for the travel and transportation cost, maybe take up for 30 or 40%, and from foods and you know those family activities, that could be another 20% as well. And of course, you have to mention, you know, because of this is Eid, maybe you have to do some charities, donations. Maybe you go for your home country, you want to spend to contribute to your local companies or your local communities there. That would be great as well, right? So I mean, like it's not just about spending, but spending with benefit for others.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So it seems the most will be for the transport.
Yeah, I think so, because you know that's the main hurdle during this period, right?
Okay. Great. How about for buying clothes? Because that's one of the main things we do during the year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like it's not just about the clothes. Maybe like gifting, like doing you know the hampers things as well.
Yeah.
And especially during this period right now, there are many sales, you know, the promotions and discount. I think that's the you know the temptation for us to spend all our religious allowance because everything looks cheaper, you know, at the same time. So I guess that's the tricky part, because we have to ensure that, you know, during those many activities in the limited period, we have to ensure that our money is actually enough for that. I mean, like not going deeper into debt or pay later or anything else that maybe you don't calculate because you don't calculate it very well.
Okay. So just one more question. What I wanted to know as well, there's a lot of, you know, in terms of investments, things are very interesting at the moment. I think a lot of things are very bullish.
Yeah.
You think maybe now is the time to maybe not spend so much on Eid and homecoming and spend more on investing, and maybe what kind of investment tools do you think is best during Eid?
That will be very wise, because I mean, like you know, when you get this religious allowance, it's actually the additional income for a year, annual additional income, right? So you can use that money for something other purpose that is good purpose, right? So it's better to save some for investing or for some savings, right? Because you have other needs in the near futures. Like for example, you will have Kurban in the next 2 months, right? There will be another summer holiday and kids going to school and other things. So it's better for you to go for saving if you can. And for me, I guess I will not going to be that aggressive when you're talking about investing, right?
Okay.
Because right now, of course, the market is bullish, but still, I mean, like, it's expensive. Like, you know, the price of gold is already very high, but still it is good to saving on golds or maybe other Sharia instruments. So you can also do that principles during the Eid period.
Right. Unfortunately, the SR20, it's run out, the time to buy it.
Yeah.
But Sharia investments could be a good one.
Right. I mean, like, if you don't know what to do with it, it's better you save aside, put it in your accounts or in your deposit, and then when there will be another sukuk or
Right.
bonds coming out, you can transfer your money there.
Okay, some sound advice right there, because as you said, the market is bullish at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, but Metta Anggriani, certified financial planner, thank you so much for stopping by See Today's studios.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go for a very short break, but when we return, we'll have our daily recap from the Indonesian stock market live from the Indonesian Stock Exchange as well. So don't miss it. We'll be right back.